I couldn't be more proud to be a Zionist and a Jew. If I could be a lone soldier, if I didn't have these tumors, I would be fighting right now for our people. I'm tired of seeing weak Jews, and I give them shit when I see it. Either speak up right now more than ever, or like, you're not the guy or the girl that I thought you were. Use your platform, use your social media, use the dinner table with your family and friends, because we just don't have time to fuck around.
Hey Schmoozers, welcome back to the pod. For those of you that are new here, I'm David Cobby, and I'm on a mission to inspire Jews to be proud of who they are and leverage their personal brands. Before we get deeper into the episode, make sure you are following the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so that you'll never miss another episode. My next guest is guaranteed to inspire you by sharing his story, brand, and outlook on life. As a cancer survivor, business owner, golf lover, and proud Jew, his perspective on life, Judaism, and business will absolutely blow you away. The only way that I can describe this man is a warrior, and I am so honored that he reached out to me to do a collab. Please welcome to this week's episode, Umbrla founder and certified cancer ass kicker, Adam Swartz. Adam, man, welcome to the show. How you doing?
David, that hype was maybe the most hype I've ever received in my life. So now I'm feeling really good.
Adam, I told you, man, like this is not a place where like, yeah, you could be a little bit humble, but man, Adam, when we spoke on the phone before this episode, we talked for those curious about my interview process and whatever, I usually will sit with like my potential guests on the phone for 15 minutes, vet them, schmooze a little bit, whatever. Adam and I talked on the phone for 45 minutes because we were just having a podcast conversation ourselves. So like,
I think we already did this. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So you're hearing the more polished version of it, but man, Adam, I mean, there's so much to get to. And I think the only way that we can start this is I want you to just give me the 3-minute version of your life story, just as you did on the phone. And then we'll go from there. Cause like, there's so much we got to talk about here.
All right. You got me on the clock?
Yes, let's go. 3 minutes. I got you.
All right. Born in Baltimore, then moved to Tampa, Florida. And now we're talking from Indianapolis, Indiana today. I went to IU Bloomington. Day after graduation, packed my car, moved out to Boulder, Colorado. I then kickstarted the marketing department at the Native Roots dispensary chain, now one of the largest chains in the state. 3.5 years into that job, my roommate and I at the time decided to start a creative agency, nights and weekends. Things snowballed pretty quickly. I was actually able to leave my job at Native Roots, and at the same time, I turned them into our first monthly retainer client. So that was a nice 1-2 punch. And that was 2017. 2017 through 2019 moved really quickly. I was 24 through 26 at the time. And business was good. And at the end of that 2 years, we ended up doing a shoot for a pretty outdated PR firm out of New York City. They loved what we were up to. They needed some fresh, young social blood at the firm. And they happened to be opening up an office in Denver where we were located. So ended up sitting down with the owner. And again, he really liked what we were up to. So we had a little meeting and he said, hey, I really fuck with you guys. How about you just, come on board full time with me? And, David, like I told you on our 45, 50-minute call, I'm 25 at the time. We're poker faced above the table, but kicking the shit out of each other underneath the table. Like, what is happening right now? To not believe it. And, we had to have our lawyers get involved, which was a super cool experience. And 2 or 3 months after that, we ended up signing some paperwork, sold Umbrla Creative, and jumped in full time with this agency. And part of that agency was a 2-year acquisition. So 2019 through 2021, I was then on board to really spearhead some social media efforts at this larger firm. 2020 rolls around, and in January, I'm out at Sundance Film Festival doing a shoot. fly back to Denver that evening. I go to sleep. 10 minutes, 15 minutes into sleep, I find myself in my first grand mal seizure. So my body completely locks out. I fall out of bed. I almost bite my tongue off. It was super, super cool. Luckily, ex-girlfriend was sleeping over at the time, and she obviously sees what's going on. 911 calls the paramedics, and I get rushed to Denver Health. So CT scans, MRIs, 4:35 in the morning. Neurologist walks in and says, good morning, Boker Tov. You have 2 brain tumors. And I'm like, sweet. Good morning to you as well. So in a little bit of shock, I call my dad after my parents got divorced here in Indianapolis. My father moved back to Baltimore, and he had always worked in the healthcare space. So I give him a ring. Dad, Boker Tov, your youngest son has 2 brain tumors. I need you to get me a consultation at Johns Hopkins. Again, like I told you on the phone, David, you don't want hands in your brain, but if you're going to be somewhere with hands in your brain, you want it to be Johns Hopkins, just top tier, best of the best. Mm-hmm. So February 24th, 2020 comes up, and I end up going in for a 7-8 hour craniotomy. I don't know if you can see the scar right now with the new haircut, but again, best of the best in the world, and they're able to get about half of the big tumor out. So the running joke is I'm walking around with 1.5 brain tumors right now, and I recover at my dad's for 3-4 weeks while we're waiting for the biopsy. Come to find out, I have oligodendrogliomas. So same thing, you don't want brain tumors, but if you're going to have them, you do want what I have. Mm-hmm. Very slow growing, only 3% of brain tumors are this kind. And so in that way, very fortunate. I then get dropped off at BWI by my father to catch the last flight out back to Denver as the day that every airport across the country is shutting down because of COVID. Make it back to Denver, continue to recover for a few weeks. And 3-4 weeks later after that, I'm texting with my dad, calling him. Everything is super sababa. Everything's good. And then he kind of goes dark one night. Try to give him a ring the next morning. Nothing. Reach out to my mom, reach out to my brother. They haven't heard anything. And come to find out, it takes us 48 hours to finally call the correct hospital, number 10 or number 11 on the list, that happened to have had his body. And 2 days prior, when I was texting him, he dropped dead shopping for wine at his favorite wine store at the young and ripe age of 61. So, Q1 of 2020, I have 3 major wake-up calls. I've sold a business. I'm 1 year into what is like my fresh new career, feeling like I'm climbing up the top of the world, to then get diagnosed with brain tumors, have a craniotomy. My father passes away, and, the rest of the world is just dealing with COVID. Like, that's the big deal, but that is the last thing that I'm thinking about. Not even thinking about it. So middle of 2021 comes around, the second year of this 2-year stint, and I've really had enough. I tell people I had my midlife crisis at my quarter life age. So I make it through to that end of that contract with my job. I immediately open up my computer, send in my notice, like, hey guys, I've got bigger fish to fry right now, pretty clearly. And I've been practicing yoga for about a decade on and off since my days at IU Bloomington. And something inside of me just makes me Google yoga teacher training Central America. I don't know what it is, but that's just what came out of me. And a week later, I find myself at Lake Atitlan in Guatemala. And from there, my life really starts to change. So day 1 of this yoga teacher training, we're like sitting in the main yoga shala on this lake at this introduction circle, and across from me is just the most beautiful young woman I've ever seen in my life. Netta, this young Israeli. She's on her second after the army trip. She had done India, and now she's on her Central America tour. And she tried to play friends with me for a couple of weeks, and I wasn't having that. So the relationship starts to change. I then invite myself to her last 2 weeks throughout Mexico after this yoga teacher training. I come home, teach 1 yoga class, do some laundry, repack my bag, and book a one-way trip to Tel Aviv. I actually meet her mother and fall asleep in Neta's bed before she's even back from Mexico. And I get to, get a wake up call from her mom, like, hey, Adam, we got to go to the airport and pick up your girlfriend, I think. And we live in Tel Aviv for a year. I immediately propose. We go to Cyprus and get married. And yeah, we get a visa, a green card situation figured out thanks to my mom here stateside, who was doing a lot of that paperwork for us. And yeah, we finally get back to the States, and I pick up another job to keep things moving and grooving. And I guess now we're talking today. One piece I left out, David, is during my time at IU, I had to write a business plan. So I decided to start like a t-shirt company on paper. It was based on the Tom's model. So like for every t-shirt sold, I said I would plant a tree. And me being me, the kid that always had a lemonade stand, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to just do this. I've already written the business plan. So my sophomore year at Indiana, I start selling t-shirts, parties, throwing concerts, everything like that. And then once I get out to Colorado, continue the business nights and weekends. And then once my diagnosis comes, I shift gears and transition from planting trees to raising money for brain tumor awareness. And yeah, and now here we are today talking.
Oh my God. That I feel
was that 3 minutes? That might have been a little.
That was like 7 minutes, but Jewish time, you plus or minus.
We're schmoozing.
We're just schmoozing. But
yeah, man.
Guys, I told you this guy is an amazing story. Like Adam's like incredible. You just hear the ups and the downs. You hear he starts a business, everything's going great. He's literally on cloud nine, and then all of a sudden gets cancer. His dad dies, like COVID hits, like, oh my God, like that right there, if anything, is pure adversity. And unfortunately, like the timing of this episode is kind of hitting home to me because one of my really good friends, his mother just passed away from pancreatic cancer. And I was just at the funeral on Thursday. So the timing of this is just all so weird. And, I've had people in my family that have been diagnosed with cancer, and it fucking sucks.
It fucking sucks.
There's no way around it. And especially like brain cancer. Like thank God, like you're here and you're talking and you're okay. And like it's such a miracle that you survived brain cancer, because not everybody gets to do that. And I think for somebody like you that's really experienced this hardship of a craniotomy, and you're still living with these tumors, how do you look at life in terms of having a divine intervention or even believing in God? Like, I know for you're not necessarily the most religious person, and you're still a proud Jew, which is why you're on here, and you're very connected to, obviously
1,000,000%.
Well, you're still connected to Israel. You married Neta, you found an Israeli girl, so you can't not be a proud Jew if you married an Israeli girl. But how do you think of God? Like, God gave you these brain tumors, and he's saying, Adam, go live with these. Fuck you. Like, how did that influence your relationship with God?
In the nicest way back, it's fuck you back. It's like fuck you too, and challenge accepted. So, I hate to be, the young kid that like preaches about gratitude. There's too many of them out there.
Right.
So I just try to embody it and just do my thing with it. And, unfortunately and fortunately, primarily fortunately, I wouldn't have met the love of my life. I wouldn't have gotten to spend a year of my life living in Israel, which is just truly out of this world. And I wouldn't have had all these amazing experiences had I not been diagnosed, had my father not died, had I not had this midlife crisis at the age of 26 and 27. These brain tumors, that you're not supposed to, if you get them, you're not supposed to get them until you're 50 or 60. But something within me said, let's just get them now. Had all these things not happened, like you said, the ups and the downs and the roller coaster of this short life that we all had, I I wouldn't have met Netta. Like I if my father didn't pass in the way and the age that he was, I wouldn't have this outlook that I now have. And sure, we can all wake up and say, we're going to kick today's ass, carpe diem, however you want to say it and however you want to live it.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, words matter, but actions clearly speak way louder than words.
100%.
So yeah, I try not to like preach about it. I just try to practice.
You do it.
And part of that is that fuck you back. And then in going back to the top of the question, it would be in some way, I believe in some like divine universal embodiment of a God.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think, it's always a little cliche, but everything happens for a reason, right? Like we got connected over Instagram for a reason to have this conversation and then, to be friends for life and to keep connecting other people and networking and building this core of what needs to happen right now more than ever.
Yes.
And yeah, long-winded answer, but that's my schmooze on that.
I like it. Honestly, I don't think, and the one thing I like about this podcast is I really mean when I say this, like my guests, as long as it's not politics and as long as you're not giving attention to people that hate Jewish people, those are the two rules. I really embody the fact that my guests have their opinions and can say them. And maybe we have a disagreement, maybe we don't. But
sure,
I think you're the only person on here that's ever said "fuck you" to God. Like only.
You know how I mean it. You know how I
know exactly how you mean it, and I honestly, I think that's reasonable. Somebody who I had on my podcast who I actually want to connect you with, his name's Ryan Weiss. Phenomenal guy. He talks about this idea of feeling your emotions and like,
sure,
it's okay to have these emotions, right? Like Hashem, our God, like I personally have a very strong connection with him and I respect him. I respect God so much. He's done so much in my life. But there are those times where I'm like, God, fuck you. Why'd you do this? But then also like the fact that your outlook on life is not, oh, I'm going to be a preacher and say, hey, yo, you should do this and that. You go out and do it. Right. So like traveling and yoga and all these things I feel like are ways that you kind of really, I don't know if mellowing is the right word, but you kind of find your inner divine spirit and are able to connect with God that way. And I think that really says something about there's other ways to connect with God than just sitting down and reading the Torah or davening or whatever it is, or putting on tefillin. There are other ways that you can connect with God aside from doing the in the box Jewish cultural things.
Right.
You could go travel and do yoga. Like I feel like you found God by traveling and doing yoga and all these
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. And the reason I'm able to express those emotions so rawly like that is I feel like it would be more disrespectful if I were to have this pity party and say, oh, I was this kid and I got these brain tumors and that's not fair. Life's not fair. And just withered away on a couch.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a way that, my dad would want me to live or God would want me to live, anything like that.
Right.
And, my father always wanted me to have Jewish children. Right. So like you said, like traveling with no intention of meeting anyone. Like I left for myself to just take this break from life, my little LinkedIn, career break.
Yes.
Yeah, it allowed me to expose the rest of my life, which checked so many boxes in so many ways that would have just never happened. And it comes down to that risk, and it comes down to not preaching it, but doing it. And I think something that's so beautiful about Judaism is, we can deconstruct that box.
Yes.
You can rap or you can go to shul or my bar mitzvah, my mother wrote the program and broke it down phonetically in English as well so I could get through. And we were joking about it before, but I don't think the guests knew if it was for them, so they could tag along on what I was saying.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, it was for me. And like, thank you to the most amazing, mother that ever existed.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that's also what's so beautiful about Judaism is we
Yes.
can have this conversation. We can have the same outlook on life. We can both be super, super strong, proud Jews.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter necessarily how we, tick the lines of Judaism, but like we're living it and we're doing it perhaps in our own way, but from point A to Z, it's in a way the same journey.
Absolutely. It's just like
Yeah.
it's how I kind of think of it is it's like, to be honest, like I definitely think very differently than you, Adam. Like I'm not gonna lie, but our intentions are very similar, right? You, for example, you finding God through yoga, right? I don't necessarily find God through yoga. Like I find God through physically putting on tefillin. I think there's something to be said about that, where we're in a society today where there's a lot of extremes. There's the
Yeah.
especially in Judaism, there's the ultra orthodox that, let's be honest, don't really assimilate with the rest of the Jewish community, and then there's people that are Jewish, right? That consider themselves Jewish and that go to synagogue in the high holidays.
Right.
And I think it's so beautiful that we can sit here as people that are definitely on different sides of this Jewish spectrum. We can sit here and have a conversation about God and having different opinions on how we pursue Judaism. But at the end of the day, like you said, we both have one goal in mind, and that goal is to create, I feel like, a strong, really strong Jewish community and show everybody that, hey, we're both proud to be Jewish and we don't give a fuck about what anybody else says, even within the Jewish community too, right?
Yeah.
I think most of the ready, here comes a hot take. Most of the criticism around Judaism is within the community. We judge, oh, so-and-so did this. Oh, so-and-so did that.
That's part of what we're best at, David. We're the best. We're the best at arguing. I was just talking to a friend about that the other day, who I need to introduce you to.
Awesome.
It's one of the things we do best. It's part of practicing Judaism is arguing.
Yes.
And we critique each other and we continue dialogues, and it makes us think and it makes us grow, not only as individuals, but as a community and as a religion. And I think that's, there's something to be said about that kind of separates us from the pack.
Yes.
Right. Like we're willing to challenge each other and butt heads to make a next step or take the conversation where it needs to be. And that's also what I love about Judaism so much.
Absolutely.
Is that you can sit here and have me on your podcast and say like, look, dude, I don't completely agree with you, but like, let's talk. Like, that's amazing. I'd rather it be like that.
Right. And to be like full transparency, like I respect the fuck out of you. Like you, for not only for reaching out, your story, your opinions, I respect them. It's not necessarily that like I agree with them, and that's completely okay. And I think another area that you didn't touch on in your story, but another area where maybe we butt heads is your love for golf. Like I know you caddied, I think it was in 2009, you caddied the US Senior Open, got a scholarship for golf as well. Me personally, like my love for golf lies in Topgolf, and that's about it. So I gotta ask you, what is it about golf that you love? Like you're on the links for 18. It's 100 degrees out. You're trying to hit this tiny little ball in a tiny little hole, and you're drinking and you're walking. Like what is it that you love about golf?
Well, to start, when I was 9 and playing basketball at the JCCs everywhere that I lived, I had the realization I wasn't gonna, hit 6 feet to even have a chance to play in high school or college or NBA. So those dreams were shot.
Yeah.
Those dreams were shot. I can play. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But no, I mean, I think golf is so special because you're really playing against yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a mental battle.
Mm-hmm.
And similar, I mean, there are similarities with my story where you can sit and like resonate and dwell on that last shot that puts you in the bunker or puts you in the water. That's not me, by the way. But you can choose to do that, or it's, hey, fuck that. Every shot matters. What can I do from this point to put the ball in the hole?
Mm.
And it's just such a mentally challenging game. People do overlook the physical aspect. I'm not going to put that aside. You are walking around all day and
Yep.
swinging.
Yep.
But no, it's physical. It's physical chess. I
Mhm.
mean, like, there's something that's so unique about it that you could find in other sports or other physical activity.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's hard to put into words.
Sure.
You're playing against yourself. You're still out with buddies on a beautiful day,
Yep.
or maybe not a beautiful day, but like you're still making the best of it.
Yeah.
And you might shank one or two, or again put one in the water, but like it doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not on tour,
Yep.
right? Like, you're having a good time and you're making every shot count, and it just comes down to you and your brain.
Mhm. What's your handicap,
Yeah.
by the way?
I'm solid. I'm like a 4 or 5. Like, I can play.
Wow, you're a 4
Yeah.
handicap. Holy cow.
Well, I mean, you asked me 10 years ago when I was playing, it'd be a different answer. But no, with the 5-6 times I get out a year, I'm still a mid-70 golfer.
Holy. What was your best round of 18?
70 in my high school days.
That's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
I made it to state as an individual. My team didn't really have my back, but yeah, I made it to state as an individual my senior year in Indianapolis.
That's incredible. So I know you caddied a lot too, and this is gonna tie into your business also, which I want to get to, but we're slowly approaching it. But I guess as a caddy, right? You're literally schmoozing with people all the time. You're talking I mean, you really don't know who you're talking to until, like, they get their foursome. They, you walk up to them, you're schmoozing with them, you're giving them advice, whatever. So do you have any cool caddy stories?
For sure. Probably too many to count.
Okay.
Two right off the bat would be, I know you're a football guy.
Huge.
So I've definitely looped for, Jeff Saturday and Peyton Manning.
No way.
They were members out here when I was on the come up. And then for the golfers that might be tuning in, I used to loop for Pete Dye and Alice Dye, who are just, Pete Dye is one of the most famous, golf course designers and architects in history, and has courses around the world. And, even when I was caddying for him and he was, I think nearing like 90, that guy was just piping it. It might have gone 200, 190, 200 off the tee, but just not even a thought, not a thing. And then given that he designed these greens, he didn't need to read anything. He was just going up and he knew exactly where to place the ball. So, like, seeing the guy play the course that he made was like just a crazy experience.
That's insane.
But you're right. I mean, networking skills, knowing when to speak and when to listen, when to say the right thing. I learned a lot, and caddying made me a huge part of the person, the guy I am today. Just so many interpersonal relationship skills. And yeah, it was the coolest high school job you could have. I lived Caddyshack. Caddyshack is based on like my youth, and that scholarship is the scholarship I got. So yeah, for those of you who've seen the movie, like, that's me. And if you haven't seen Caddyshack, what are you doing?
Yes.
Because that's just a must. That's a must.
Caddyshack, I would even argue, is, I mean, like, I'm 22 now, and I would argue that movie is probably a little bit before my time. But I remember, I think that was like one of the first, I can't remember if it's rated R or like PG-13, but like that was one of the first like naughty movies that I watched when I was a kid. So Caddyshack has a special place in my heart. Like, that movie is just like fucking hilarious. The whole what was it? Was it a groundhog or chipmunk? What was it? It was
the chipmunks.
The chipmunk. Just like that whole shtick with like, and then I have to rewatch it because like I don't remember parts of it, but it was a funny ass movie.
And it's the perfect intro to Bill Murray if you're not already a Bill Murray lover. Like, that's where you start.
Yes.
That's where you start.
Absolutely. So I know we talked about schmoozing and caddying and overcoming adversity. Now I want to get to the good part of this podcast, which before was great, but now this is going to be even better. So you might notice that behind Adam, there's an upside down umbrella. And you're probably wondering, like, what the fuck is an upside down umbrella doing on a water bottle? What's it doing on his zip up sweatshirt? Like, honestly, like when I first saw that, I was like, what the hell? That's kind of cool. So I know you talked about the mission behind Umbrella and how you started it while you were in college, and it was an idea. It was just an idea. You turned that idea into an actual business, and now and then you even changed the landscape of the business, where before the money was going towards the environment, now it's going towards cancer research. But the one thing that I think was consistent with the brand is the umbrella and turning it upside down. So why is that umbrella upside down on clothing? What does it represent?
David, great question. Funny you should ask. I sketched the first upside down umbrella in the back row, actually, of a Buddhism class while I was at Indiana.
Wow.
Yeah. So a standard umbrella, upright, blocks things out, right?
Mm-hmm.
The rain, the wind, the hail, it's covering you. You flip that bad boy upside down, and in my mind, and what I try to promote throughout all of my, my apparel and my home goods, is that an upside down umbrella allows for all of these things, the good and the bad, to come in and affect you, change you, help you grow, and without, getting a little wet, without getting diagnosed with some brain tumors. You're not going to become the person that you should be. You're not going to live to your fullest potential, and you're not going to learn your life's lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just flipping the script on an everyday thing that is just constantly overlooked. Also, it's a pretty clean, little mark. There is something to it, but no, there's more meaning behind it than just the icon itself.
This might be a tough question to answer, and I like to get just really deep into things with my guests. So you talk about adversity, and I mean, off the top of my head, there are probably very few people that have had to go through the adversity that you've had to go through with brain cancer and your father passing away in a 4-month span. So for somebody like me that wants to get better, right? I'm 22. I eventually want to start my own business. I want to be great, and I'm an intense guy, but my adversity compared to yours is let's be real, jack shit. Sure, everybody has their own adversity, and people have their own battles that they have to face. So how do you replicate that adversity of a brain tumor without actually having a brain tumor?
You could tell yourself you have one and realize life is short. I mean, no, you already said it. We all have our own,
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to minimize it. Again, don't dwell on it.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be shit compared to the guy sitting next to you or the guy you're talking to.
Right.
But I mean, even just hearing you say, I eventually want to, cross out eventually and want to, right? So yes, you're doing this podcast, but write that down on paper.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to.
Okay.
And then that's still not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
Uh-huh.
Right? One of my favorite rules right now is, and it's not mine, I'm just, through reading and research and trying to better myself, is, if something takes less than 5 minutes, do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you never need to think about it again. Because the amount of time, if you're thinking about it for more than 5 minutes and the line item takes less than 5, you're already out of balance, right? So
Right.
And you're getting more power than it deserves.
Right.
So I think that's also true with the speaking. Yes, words matter, but again, coming back to the top of the conversation, actions are so much more powerful than words.
Absolutely.
So it's not always easy to do, but it's so easy to say you're going to do.
Right.
And that's just a switch you can flip in your head and say, I'm done with speaking about, and I'm going to do. and then start doing the things. There might not be an eventually.
Right.
Like today might be the eventually.
Yeah.
And then you didn't start your business.
Right.
Right. So, but like, hats off. You're 22. You're starting this podcast. You're bringing Jews together around the world.
Mhm.
Something that's like never been able to, been done before, thanks to amazing technology that Jews do play such an integral part, in creating and maintaining
Yes.
and elevating.
Yes.
So the fact that you're using your platform right now as such a young guy, like hats off to you. It's fucking fantastic, and don't sell yourself short there, especially given the world that we live in today. Like really, it gives me chills. Because that's something that I've said I'm going to do, and now I'm a guest on your show, right? So yeah, you just have to do. You just have to do. Yeah,
I
like that's overcoming whatever your shtick is.
Well, thank you for that, and I'm gonna steal what you said before. I've accomplished nothing. Like I still have so much more to grow, to learn, to get hurt, to learn from it. Like I have so much more to experience in life, and yes, it's not guaranteed that I'm gonna live tomorrow, but God willing, everything works out the way it's supposed to. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. And you say that a lot. Like you've said that multiple times to me. And I know you have Umbrella right now, which is your clothing company. You also are potentially looking to start a podcast. Like you too, like you all are also in that tunnel vision mindset where like you clearly have an end goal in mind where you want to accomplish something. What is that something that you keep saying, I haven't accomplished shit, but what's Nothing. On the other side of that? Like what is that goal that you have for yourself?
I don't know, David. It's sharing my story like we're doing right now, mitigating as much and removing as much ego as possible, because it's not about me.
Right.
It's really about these items that we're discussing. Right. And I want to help others, whether you're sick or not sick, whether you're in America or Israel, whether you're male or female, whatever it is. I want to let people know that like you can do, and tomorrow might not happen. So like just fucking do it. Not to steal from Nike, but like you don't know what is going to happen. And as the Jewish people, we experienced on the 7th, and again, like luckily and unluckily, given the family that I'm married into, we lost immediate family members on the 7th at Nova. And when we went back to visit and pay respects and see family, we were driving to a dinner on my birthday, and the siren sounded. We had to park the car under a highway, and I saw the Iron Dome in action. Like, oh my God. We saw our lives flash before my eyes when we weren't even there for us. So, and the people that we lost were your age. And they went to go dance, Yeah, I want to share that you can do whatever you want. There might be somebody that's out there that is better than you at it, but all it takes is time. You put in your 10,000 hours. An overnight success is a decade.
Yep.
And the only shortcut is consistency and doing. And I'm still learning that. Like I don't want to be that preacher. I suck at it. Like you said, like I feel like I haven't accomplished anything. So I'm still on that path to figure out what it is and how I do it. But these types of interactions and schmoozing and dialogues are helping me find where I go. Is it through fabric? Is it through my voice? Is it through events? I don't know. And I say Baruch Hashem because I'm on day 211 of Duolingo. So, of Hebrew. So I'm pretty limited right now, David. But I do know that line. Okay. And yeah, it's sharing my story, not making it about me, making it approachable, and just connecting with others.
I love it. I think we're, half of this podcast is about Jewish identity. Half of it is about personal branding. And you kind of just combined those two things. And I think for the sake of personal branding and having a brand, especially a clothing brand, the one like pushback that I have, to be honest with you, is how do you brand yourself, your company, your story, but not make it about you? Like, I understand your intention of, I want to help people, and that's clearly communicated through your work on social media and your clothing company, like clear as day. And also you're an extremely vulnerable person, and you really care, and you check your ego at the door. But how do you, in the sake of personal branding, right? It's all about you and standing out and differentiating yourself from everybody. How do you make it not about you, yet still be able to stand out?
You tell me. This is a question I go to sleep asking myself every night, and the first thing I wake up doing is trying to answer it. And like you said, I do my best to check my ego at the door. At the end of the day, 50% of what the work that you're doing here is about personal branding. And so, given the age of technology again that we live in, that's a huge factor to this one life that we have, right?
Mhm.
So yes, we need to be the best versions of ourselves. Yes, we need to make sure that our LinkedIn has, the most accurate description and the prettiest picture of us, whatever it may be. And the next level about that is Instagram and those stories and YouTube, whatever your avenue
Mhm.
is putting out that best version of yourself, and that's where it comes into play. So, when it comes to the clothing aspect, I do my best to like take a step back in terms of, look, I'm not a model, right?
Mhm.
Everyone tells me I have a face for radio. So, so now that I have Netta, the most beautiful woman in the world,
Mhm.
we'll put her in some clothing and do photo shoots with her, or more attractive friends that I have, try to bring them into the picture, whatever it is. But it's a super delicate question, and I'm sure it's something that you're grappling with right now, right? As you're
Yes.
interviewing people around the world, you're sitting on one side of the screen, and yeah, I mean, like, it's a tough nut to crack.
Mhm.
Going back to the mutual connection we have, who is one of my greatest heroes in life right now, Hillel Fuld. This is something that, in a way that he's mastered, right? He's sharing his story, Israel's story, the technological story of Israel, and again how strong and amazing we are
Mhm.
as a people and as a home country. But it's not about him. He's the vessel. He's the medium.
Mhm.
I don't think he'd be mad if I said he wasn't, the sexiest guy alive, right? But he handles it in a very, very well balanced way.
Yes.
He puts on his suit for his Shabbat, his Shabbat picture. He
Yes.
he then goes into his carousel about what he's really thinking and doing, and in a way preaching,
Mhm.
that week.
Yep.
And I think it's about navigating that balance and finding how vulnerable you want to be, how much you're willing to put yourself out there. And then again, the thing that I'm still trying to figure out is what the medium is,
Right.
right? If it's for you, your voice, fantastic. If
Mhm.
right now it's for me, fabric and threads,
Mhm.
fantastic. But the most important brand in this life right now is that personal brand. Nobody else can make it for you. Everybody else is going to have one. And like, you kind of have to have your own as a default. So why
Absolutely.
not make it the best that it can be?
Yes. Yes. Wow. Now, honestly, I'm asking you probably, like, I'm really digging deep to ask you like some fucking hard questions, because like I know you can handle them, and you're giving me like, every time you're like, I don't know how to answer that, you magically you answer it. So like,
No, these are
hats off to you.
long-winded schmoozes, taking a whole, a full hole or two holes of golf to answer. So, it's nice to hear that I'm hitting the mark, putting
Yes.
the ego back on. But I'm just talking, man. No, I'm just talking with you.
You're really great at it, man. And I mean, we could go on for hours, and talk and schmooze. And I know after we get off this interview, we're gonna schmooze some more. I guess like final thing for you is, and I actually asked Hillel this, so you're the second ever person that I've asked on this podcast.
I mean, great company then.
So
Okay.
obviously we're Jewish people. We're very strong, tight-knit community. We faced a lot of adversity, and times are changing for the Jewish people. We're ready to fucking fight back. We might be scared to be Jewish, but we're gonna face those fears.
I have to scratch you there. We are not going to be scared to be Jewish.
We're not going to be scared. We're not going to be
scared.
scared.
We are no longer Jews with trembling knees.
We are no longer Jews with trembling knees.
Continue.
The fact that we're no longer Jews with trembling knees, we're not scared. We're going to fight whatever little fear we have in us, and we're going to show that we're proud to be Jewish. Nobody is going to tell us not to be Jewish. We've suffered enough. I'm fucking sick of it. Okay? Yep. What is your message to the rest of the world? What like, as somebody that's been through adversity already, that I would even argue matches, if not even tramples, what the Jewish people had to face in their history. What's your message?
Don't say that. That's we've been through way worse than what I've been through, man. What's my message is more of this, more arguing, more dialogue, more bashing heads inside the community, make more Jewish babies. Don't be scared when the idiot, across the street pulls up his cell phone and wants to start talking shit because, like I was in Denver and I saw free Palestine written on a wall, right? And I pulled out my Sharpie and I said, from Hamas. And this couple came berating me in the street. She had already pulled out her cell phone. And I said, hey guys, like, come over. We can just have a conversation.
Yes.
I was as calm as I'm calm right now, right? And it turned into this immediate clash of like, you're Jewish, you're wrong, fuck you. And again, like, we don't have trembling knees anymore. I'm sorry, we don't. We've had enough of that. We're done. Our ancestors would be rolling in their graves if we put us, our current people in a position that they had to deal with in the past.
Yep.
So I think that's the message, is like, we're not here to fuck around anymore, right? There's 15 million of us on a good day. We're pushing 8 billion in the world, global population. And there's no time to fuck around. There really isn't. I can say that from the time perspective of the adversity I've been through in my life. And then you can speak to it from a more business perspective and what you're doing with this podcast and these conversations. There's no time to fuck around. You pull out your chai, right? You pull out your hostage dog tag, and like, you wear that shit proud.
Yes.
And for you, you put on your kippah.
Yes.
For me, I go to networking events and I schmooze and I tell people that I'm married to an Israeli. I couldn't be more proud to be a Zionist and a Jew. All of these things. If I could be a lone soldier, if I didn't have these tumors, I would be fighting right now for our people. I mean, yeah, we're not here to fuck around. That's the message. And like, I'm done with it. I'm tired of seeing weak Jews, and I give them shit when I see it. And just like people have said for 80 years, with silence is complicity. If you go back, to the Holocaust, like, the good people I know that are quiet, like, either speak up right now more than ever, or like, you're not the guy or the girl that I thought you were.
Right.
Like, now more than ever, use your platform, use your social media, use the dinner table with your family and friends, because we just don't have time to fuck around.
God, what an answer. What an answer. And I could not agree with you more on that.
Finally.
There we go. We get some agreements now. Wow, Adam, this absolutely unbelievable. And I mean, we're just scratching the surface of what we are about to do. I don't know what we're gonna do with this relationship in our future, but I can tell you it's gonna be something great. So I'm 100%. So glad that you reached out to me, and we're gonna continue this conversation. And before we end the episode, for the listeners, where can people find out more information about you, buy your clothes, etc.? Like, I want people. Come on, plug yourself. Enough being humble. Plug yourself. Go.
Thanks for the plug. Okay. UmbrellaSupply.com. UMBRLA supply.com. T-shirts, hats, hoodies, socks, candles, bottles, home goods, coffee mugs, the whole nine. I'm most active on Instagram. I'm not your age. I'm a little too old for TikToks and Snapchat. So I haven't delved into that world. Instagram, Umbrella Clothier, UMBRLACLOTHIER. And yeah, man, I'm going to stop the plug there. That's all I got.
Okay, guys, you gotta follow Adam, follow Umbrella across all socials.
David, for all of your listeners,
yes,
discount code BRAIN for 20% off your first purchase.
There we go. Discount code BRAIN for 20% off your first purchase. So, I mean, guys, like, okay, here's the part of the episode where I get anti-Semitic, but we're only going to do this for 15 seconds. I know you Jews love a good discount, so go use it, okay? 20%
off. Open that wallet.
I'm so glad you enjoyed this week's episode of Schmoozing Time. Thank you so much for tuning in. In addition to sharing this episode with someone, make sure you follow on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube Shorts. Also, make sure you're following the show on Apple Podcasts and or Spotify. Until next time, keep schmoozing.